showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Okay, man. All right. What is going on, folks? What is going on? What is going on? Yeah, we are here for another show. We're knocking out episode 120. We're doing it up big, man. We're doing it up big. As always, you know how I do. Shout out to you guys, man. First and foremost, thank you for listening to the show. Without you guys tuning in, hey, what would this show be? Yeah, as I said before, I'm going to have another short one for you guys because I just been so busy as of late trying to get everything. I know I told you guys I was not going to have another show this week, but my bad. It was the following week. I won't have a show the following week. And my anniversary date is July at the end, July 30th. Now, if you just look, if you just look right quick, and that's why I mix up dates on the show, and I don't pay attention because, like I said, I always keep my head down. So my anniversary, my first show was I'm looking, folks. Give me a second. Debut was July 30th, man. July 30th. So yeah, man, my anniversary is July 30th for the debut show. So yeah, man, so we're gonna keep on doing it, and I guess I'm saying happy anniversary to myself early because I'm not gonna have a show next weekend. Happy anniversary, Nova. It's all good. Come on, let's get this started, man, and so we can knock this out quick so I can move on and get to my other thing. So yes, this is your host Nova Phoenix on GCOM Radio on iHeartRadio, and we're gonna come off with the first topic of discussion, and that is shouting out to my man. Rest in peace to Biz Markie. His name is Marcel Theo Hall, the clown prince of hip hop, the diabolical. This brother was a treasure to the hip hop community. It's unfortunate that he passed away. He was dealing with diabetes. I think it was type 2. He was dealing with it for a long time, and I guess God called him. So I can't. I mean, there's no words. I mean, he never. Biz Markie never pretended to be someone else. He was just him in all his music, his DJ sets, his presence, anywhere that he performed. He was just himself, just cool, laid back. I think I could speak for a lot of people if you were ever around Biz Markie. There was never a time that you had to put up a front around him because he was just, in his way of being himself, he in ways brought out you to be yourself around him. There was, pretentiousness, there's no need to, put up a hardcore front. He was just, Biz Markie. I know I could see that and read that off of him whenever I saw him do his thing. So, man, 57 to pass away. Thank you for contributing to what you did for hip hop. I love you. I love your work, man. For years, you were the beginning. You were one of the first few artists that I listened to when I was first introduced to hip hop at my younger years. So rest in peace, Biz Markie. Thank you so much for being here on this planet, giving the best of you. The next one is Kat Sadler. Kat Sadler was an entertainment reporter. She contracted COVID-19 from her unvaccinated son. Her son was 20 years old. And it just goes to show that even when you get your vaccine, that you can still be susceptible to COVID-19. I just got my second shot a couple of days ago, and, they still say, you have to be aware to, wear your mask and be careful, do social distancing. Sorry, my phone is going off and I'm trying to see who it is. Do social distancing and all that. But I think one of the arguments that people did have was, I ran into this line a couple of times speaking with people. Well, if it's a vaccine, then why get it? If it's the cure for, no, not necessarily, man. If you read Webster's dictionary on the vaccine, actually I pulled it. One of the first definitions is an antigenic preparation of a typically inactivated or attenuated pathogenic agent, such as a bacterium or virus, or one of its components or products, such as a protein or toxin. I guess that's fancy smancy for saying that vaccines, and I read up some other things because I really wanted to understand the difference between a vaccine and a cure. And they say a vaccine, you're exposed to certain parts of the virus to your body early, of course, in its weakened state, so your body can build up protection against the real infection. It doesn't mean you're 100% cured of the disease or exposure to the virus. You can still get it. But unlike a cure is something that you contract the disease, and the doctors, of course, they sleuth out the cause in order to find the cure. And they're saying, the medical community is saying, it's better to have a vaccine to kind of build up a defense against a virus or bacterium or whatever the case may be, instead of you actually getting infected by this virus and then, you being close to death, and they have a timetable to try to find a cure. So a vaccine is not necessarily a cure. It just builds up your body's white blood cells or defense within your body to actually fight this virus. So it's not 100%. I got, the second vaccine, and it just goes to show that, we should still protect ourselves to a certain degree whenever we go into places. So, it is. And that's it. It's funny also, they even said that the flu, when people are supposed to get, their shots for the flu, that the actual shot is kind of tailored to the new, adaptation of the new flu virus. So you're never getting the same shot from one year to the next, because these are living organisms and they adapt to the shots that we do give each other, or rather the doctor giving you the shots. So that's interesting. So if we can understand that with the regular flu that we deal with, we understand the complexity of what we're dealing with COVID-19. And sometimes we have to just get the language right. A lot of times people, they try to speak as if, they know. And I'll never say I'm a doctor whatsoever. I just go on the information that I know. So I'll never say whatever I'm saying is like the absolute 100% truth when it comes to certain things. But people should be careful. And that's the type of talk you're gonna have with random people at work, your friends or whatever. Nobody's doctors, nobody's skilled in virology or anything. They're just gonna go on what they hear on TV or something or other. So folks, just look out for that and keep that in mind when you do get your vaccination shot, if you are getting your vaccination shot. Okay, on July 6th, we have the NYPD arrest a brother named David Crowell on the train right by the 116 stop. They tased the brother in the process of trying to arrest him. So now let me just back up. The whole reason I wish it was like real footage to play back for you guys on YouTube, but basically what happened, simple, short and sweet. The dude went through the turnstile. The cops, originally in this first article that I read, the cops thought that he didn't pay his fare. They ran up on him. He was mouthing off to them saying, yo, F you, blah, 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 blah. And then they ran up on him. All the while, people on the train that he walked up on was saying to the police that were in the process of arresting this dude, was saying, no, he paid his fare. He paid his fare, from some of the footage that someone recorded on the train. So now there was another article that said that this dude, Mr. Crowell, let someone in the train station without paying their fare, but it turns out when the cops did their little investigation that the person that Mr. Crowell let into the train station, really he didn't let him in, they paid. So either way, whatever the story is, the cops had no reason to arrest this man. So here we are, we're dealing with, again, NYPD aggression. Now, you are a professional. You should be able to not get riled up or triggered when someone curses in your face. That's what makes you different from any other person when you hold a pistol on your hip. You have that responsibility to discern who are the criminals, who are the people that are a danger to society, apart from someone else just running off at the mouth. Let me tell you, if a restaurant manager can deal with an irate customer for whatever reason and keep his cool and still do his job, I know that NYPD can keep their cool even if someone curses at them that they could do their job adequately. Now, this dude got arrested and he got tased. Of course, he's going to sue. He has every right to sue the NYPD. And this is what we're talking about when it comes to aggression, even on this level. They can't control themselves. So what are we dealing with here? As I've always said, what are we dealing with here when we're dealing with whether it's the current mayor now, or we're going to deal with Eric Adams in the future come November? We know he's going to win. Let's stop all the bullshit. Not that I really, get excited about it, but the fact is this is a Democratic city and Eric Adams is going to win. So what are we dealing with when we don't have professionalism in the NYPD? You're going to get this type of behavior and up to the worst type of behavior where someone actually gets killed. This is what I try to talk about, not just as a human being, as a person, as a man that has a human rights, in every sense of the word, even as a founder, whatever. I don't want anyone to get run up on when they're going from point A to point B, whether they're doing their business as a human being or if they're working as a employee or Lyfeblood, whatever, and they go into a meeting and they have to run up on this foolishness. And I say that in every aspect. How do we protect the people from this nonsense? That's what I think about when I'm a founder and I go about my business. Sometimes I mouth off. Hey, man, it was, matter of fact, there was a situation where I mouthed off, but and I still got arrested. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But I felt like it was overblown by the cops. And, I said what I said as a citizen to have a right when I vote and I pay my taxes. I got a right to say what I said. But you know what? They got me. They want to see my license and my joint was suspended. So, hey, it is what it is. And I had to go in. But the fact remains that citizens or New York citizens have a right to say what they're going to say if they feel that they're being mistreated by the NYPD. It's the NYPD that has to show some grain of professionalism and just like move the doodle or whatever and go back to business. But this is what we're talking about. I know this. Hey, man, I'm going to keep up with this story. Of course, I'm trying to see what happens continuing. I'm going to be interested to see how Eric Adams is going to deal with this, even though he's not even mayor yet. So let's see how that goes down. The next story, the IOC committee, that's the International Olympics Committee, backed the New Zealand transgender weightlifter Laurel Hubbard. The transgender woman was a man originally and had a change, of course, but yet she, because I got to get the pronouns right. She is going to compete in the Olympic Games in the women's area when it comes to weightlifting. Now, the IOC president, Thomas, he said, and I quote, "The rules for qualifications have been established by the International Weightlifting Federation before the qualifications started. These rules apply. You cannot change rules during ongoing competitions," meaning that they support the International Weightlifting Federation. Now, hold on a second. Interesting. If you want to just back up a taste, there were two women from Namibia that were banned, from the 400 based on, I'm full, folks, so I got a little burp in action, so excuse me. That may come through every now and then. Anyway, they have high levels of testosterone. High levels, quote, high levels of testosterone after they did record-breaking times in their run in Poland. And the World Athletics conducted this test and said they had high levels of testosterone, so they would be unable to compete. Now, what kind of bullshit are we talking about? How are you going to have the IOC rule these two African women out for running the 400, and then in a 180 go to this person, Laurel Hubbard, who is a man originally to compete in the women's department of the Olympics, and say, oh no, it's not an issue because the Laurel's taking testosterone reducing drugs, so this is just going to level out. No, that doesn't make sense. Now let me tell you something. I don't care, as they say, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you want to be a ram goat. I don't care if you want to be a sheep. I don't care what you want to be in your life. That's your business. If you want to be a chihuahua yapping, I don't give a goddamn what you want to be. That's your business. What I have a problem with is this double standard. How are you going to have a man that has natural testosterone buildup? I don't care if you want to grow your nails, you want to wear fingernails, grow your hair, have fingernails, and then you're going to go through this process. I don't care. You're still a man. You have the physicality of a man. You cannot compete in a women's run sport. It does not make sense. Now they're saying that this guy is taking drugs to reduce testosterone. That's for regular people. But what happens when a man works out? What happens? His muscles grow. He becomes stronger. What are you actually triggering within your body? Your testosterone levels. They actually have commercials on TV. They're saying if you are feeling a little sluggish in the gym, fellas, you can actually take this liquid or whatever to boost your testosterone so you can get that fine, full workout. So when you work out, you are triggering your testosterone levels. You are growing your muscles. You as a man, let's say, you as a man that have testosterone that is physically built to be stronger than a woman, and in some ways faster, are going to develop an edge against a woman counterpart. Now, this person, Laurel Hubbard, is going to perform in the Olympics with her edge, as you say. And I'm looking at this picture right now, and I couldn't believe when I was reading this article. This is unfair to women. And at the same time, you're going to slap these two African women in the face. Born women. I don't know, quote unquote, they're saying they have these high testosterone levels. They will be unable to compete. Even these two women, they didn't even know of this supposed rule of testing testosterone levels. They had no idea. This is the hypocrisy. This is the BS that we have to deal with. As I said, it does not make sense. I think there should be a transgender Olympics, make it fair, make it equal, but you can't put no man. I don't care if you want to be a woman in a ring. There was a man that turned to a woman, and then he wants to do this sport in women's boxing. Yo, I heard he laced up the woman because of his strength as a man. You can't have these things, man. We got to put all of this in perspective. We got to. How are we going to be fair about this? It's about being fair. And I know I'm not going to have any woman that I know that's going to be athlete, going to play a sport in boxing or weightlifting or anything, and a man comes in. No, I'm going to have an issue. I'm going to voice my opinion. It makes no sense. That's crazy to me. And there's a lot of things that's going on around the world that I've been peeping. I haven't said much, but it's sad that we have so much conflict that's happening. Of course, with the assassination of the Haitian president, the social unrest in Cuba. I've heard Cuban police shooting citizens because of their continued protests of the oppression there. Laz Alonso, that's a brother that's an actor. That's where I got my piece of information from. He's Cuban, and he was talking about it. So, it's sad that this is going on in Cuba, and in Venezuela. You have the continued fights between gangs and the local police, and all types of craziness is happening, man. It's when you read all these articles and you see all this is going on in the world and in these countries. And sometimes I don't even know in what direction or how to take this information. A lot of people automatically said, well, it's Maduro. He's kind of like breaking up Venezuela. It's his fault, blah, 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 blah. But there's so many things. There's so many unseen actors. You can't read or believe everything that you read. You can't believe everything your eyes see. And, it's unfortunate that these countries are going through the problems that they're going through. And I just hope that there can be some level of peace, that there can be some intervention in whatever capacity from the UN or somewhere to stop all this unnecessary violence and this conflict. And I know it's easier said than done, But it gets me when you can have continued unrest, continued conflict from decade after decade after decade of the existence of these countries, and there can be no sort of understanding or peace just to bring some sort of calm to those areas. So I know in my own way that I'll keep my eye on these countries and see how it plays out in certain ways. That's all I'm going to say about that. The next thing, Billionaire. This is a Billionaire thing I followed up from last week. Yeah, I had my thing that I wanted to say about Richard Branson and his trip on the outer skin of the Earth's atmosphere, him going into space technically. And a lot of people had a problem with that. They was like, oh, Richard Branson spending all this money. He was just trying to beat Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. He was just thumbing his nose at the, it's billionaire problems that we have. Blah, blah. And I went opposite. I was like, you know what? If I was rich too, I'd probably do the same thing because it's rich people problems. We do our same thing on the middle class level, on the poor level. Someone has something and we trying to one up it. That's just what it is. It's just billionaire doing billionaire games. Now, to flip it, understanding that, I understand the conversation, understanding that. To flip it, Jeff Bezos, and I don't always want to pull out his name, Jeff Bezos, but he's just like, billionaires are easy targets. Everybody, I've seen it on Twitter, I've seen it on social media, everybody's kind of like pointing the finger at Richard Branson, blah, blah, blah. It's easy to point the finger and chastise and critique Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos because their faces are out there, the billionaires. I get that, all right. But the other part of the conversation is, even though you're flying out into space and you're enjoying yourself and you're doing these great speeches in front of these crowds at these launch sites and wherever they took off at from, I think it was in Florida, where Richard Branson was doing. Anyway, but the other side is, let's just use Jeff Bezos as an example. Jeff can literally cure or solve the homeless problem and the poverty problem in LA with just a fingernail shaving of his assets, his wealth. A fingernail shaving. Just a little bit. He wouldn't even, here, you see that? You hear my nail? Yeah, right there, that's my nail. That's a fingernail shaving of his wealth. He can eradicate poverty and the issue that's what's happening on Skid Row in LA. Joe Rogan talked about it a number of times on his show. He's an ex-LA resident. Jeff Bezos can literally blink an eye and you know what? He doesn't even have to necessarily, the argument would be, well, what, he's supposed to spend his money and just give it away? No, of course not. You could think about it in a smart way. He can invest his money to make future Amazon employees. He has the power and the money to sit down with the mayor of California, of Los Angeles, the governor of California, and say, hey, how can we work this out? This is what we can do to solve, because obviously we have a growing homeless problem, a poverty problem in LA. This is what we can do. He can hire people to literally be his liaisons to the government, to the local government, and say, hey, this is what we can contribute. Maybe we can offer skills. Maybe we could turn people into ... So I find it amazing that these people have wealth, enormous wealth that will go over 20 generations down the line, and they'll never be poor. That he could give a fraction of a fraction. And I would love to know what's on these people's minds. They're on their day-to-day lists, in the clubs that they go to, these rooms, these smoke-filled rooms. Like, we're not talking about corporate espionage. We're not talking about national security issues with him talking with Iran or the president of Iran or prime minister. I'm not talking about something where some terroristic acts that he's funding and, targeting half the city, half the locations in New York City. I'm not saying we're not even going that far. We're just saying, hey, man, all right, I see these pictures of these people in tents and, man, this is messed up. Hey, that's it. I don't understand. After all of these decades, even pre-Jeff Bezos, pre-Amazon, that no rich people have ever, just as a shits and giggles type of thing, just to see what they can do. They say, hey, you know what? Let me see if I can just throw money this way and get rid of the poverty, and you know what I mean? Everybody's not going to be an engineer. These people can be arborists, they can be teachers, they can be, I don't know, porters, they can be custodians. Just as where you get them straight, hook them up with a job, and now they could be reinserted into society. So this was never like a little pet project for any of these billionaires. I don't get it. Especially when we want to praise Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk being the number one richest man in the whole world. I can't see it. It's amazing. Like, what goes on? What turns around in these people's head? What are we dealing with? 200 people? That's nothing. 200 homeless people? Really? So you can't sit down. Okay, listen. This is how we're gonna do. But But all right, do you go ahead and fly off into space, right? Into the upper atmosphere of the Earth? Sure, okay, cool. Fly yourself to the moon? Okay, cool. All right. Set some things up to go to Mars. I get it. All right. But never at one point is it just a small little thing that you do on a Sunday afternoon to say, "Wow, man, I was in L.A., Bob, and there's so many people in tents over there. I was passing through, or I had a conversation and we were talking about Skid Row. Hey, man, wouldn't it be something if we cleaned that street up? Hey, Robert, what do you think we can do?" And then never have to deal with it again. I don't know. I would love to get in those rooms, man. Love to get in those rooms. Last thing, he doesn't even have to spend a single dime because of his influence, his power that he has as the founder of Amazon. He can literally call a meeting and say, "Hey guys, I just see this thing, and hey, what can I do?" We have that issue in New York on homeless people. They walk around 125th Street, and I'm out there in Harlem. They go to Randall's Island, they get their drugs because you have a facility there that kind of weans them off. Instead of them trying to find drugs or whatever, they have the facilities over in Randall's Island and in New York. You can look it up. There's a facility where they can get their drugs just to get the edge off. A lot of these people have mental issues. A lot of these folks are homeless. These people don't have any place to go. They got it, whatever. And they come back, they hop up on a bus, because I've been on the bus with them before going to Randall's Island. But when I first saw it, I was like, damn, what the hell? And then I figured, after being there for a while, and it's still there. And these people come right back hop on the bus, come right back to 125th, and they are all walking around, standing around on 125th, day in and day out. Working class people, blue collar people, going home, going to work, going and running errands, back and forth, and they're passing all these homeless people. People, waving their arms and just milling around, just wandering around in the middle of the intersection, in the street. When the red light comes, they walking over the cars asking for money. People just in their own worlds, as I said, flailing around their arms and everything. And just what working class people gonna do? They gotta make their money. And I see it thinking about it every time. I'm like, wow, the city can't do nothing about this? People just walking around aimlessly. And sometimes people think of it as a safety issue. What if one of these dudes crack and all of a sudden they become a target of this dude's, something in his fabricated delusional mind? It's wild, man. It's wild. And I guess I have to say right here, mark my words, that when I become a billionaire, I'll manifest that. When I become a billionaire, it's gonna be a little thing. I'm gonna remember this little talk I had with you guys here, and I'm gonna say, hey, what do you think? It's just grab the hands, and you know what I mean? Hey guys, let's have a drink over Grandma. Yeah. I want to toss you guys something. Yeah. Anyway, what other things? The last thing he's gonna say, be careful, guys, what you read on or see on social media. Because a lot of, as I said, a lot of the content can be flawed news, intentional misdirection. Excuse me. Even some profiles on social media, the respected and the trusted ones, can share footage or something that could be misinterpreted, or someone talking about some slight, and it's a misdirect. So people, remember, do not replace responsible journalism for social media in terms of where you get your information. And I give you an example. There was this young dude, P. Diddy was talking about starting his own African-American owned marketplace online, where people get anything that you want to get black, you can go online. And I thought that was fantastic. I said, yes, that's cool. It's important that we do support each other when it comes to small business. There should be a place where you can find African-American products or services. I think that's hot. That's dope. But then there's this young dude a couple of weeks later was like, oh, P. Diddy stole my idea. I was doing the same thing and it's terrible. People help me. And then when you look down the comments under, I think it was on, I forget, it was on one of the famous IG profiles. And I'm reading the comments and everybody say, see, Diddy's all messed up. See what Diddy, and people just swallowing it. See, this is what happened. And I'm like, whoa, slow down. That's like Diddy coming out with a sneaker like Nike, and then all of a sudden somebody comes out 2 weeks later and say, well, Diddy stole my design from my idea. I'm like, wait a second, man. Everybody could come out with something. Diddy's not reinventing that idea. There's Black Wall Street where you could go on IG, where you could find out products and services by African-American founders. Yeah, and there's a couple of others. Diddy's not reinventing anything. So if he slaps his name on it, he puts it out there, yeah, that's super dope. Now this kid wants to come out and say, he stole my idea, Diddy did it. It's so messed up. Yo, people, watch what you see on IG. Because even the truth can be used to mask the truth in front of you. Understand what I'm saying? So don't believe everything. I don't care if it's Shade Room. I don't care if what's the other one? It was a Shade Room, and there's a whole other one. I forgot the other one. Any one of these famous IG joints, and they share. Be very careful what you believe. Look for other sources. Look on other, even I would say look on major news media posts, whatever. Then look at independent. Definitely look at independent. See who else is talking about it. Don't just believe it firsthand off whatever you see online, man. Especially social media. Man, that could be such a trick bag. Anyway, so guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate it. This was another short one. I'm steadily doing my thing. I'm trying to get this show together. Reaching out to and talking with VCs and all that. And I'm actually doing something right now with my pitch deck. And shout out to Andy Clapp. He's from Brightside Media, Brightside Ventures, excuse me. Good guy, and he's helping me out here, and I'm going to get something 2021. I'm putting it out there in the universe, and I'm just hard at work having my head down. So yeah, excuse me if I'm not posting a lot, if I don't have that full show for you guys. I just wanted to give you guys this show because I knew that I probably got one more in me for this week, and then I'm not gonna have a show next week because my kid's birthday, and I got my family coming through, and we're gonna do Six Flags and all that. So I ain't gonna have a time to do that and do all this. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys something now. So stick with me, stick around, man. I will give you guys a full show in the future, in the near future. I will keep you posted on what's going on with this event that's happening, and also my other endeavors. So thank you guys for listening. I'm gonna get out of here, and peace, love, and hair grease. I'm mad.
Yo, check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.